Call this number right now, 202-808-3981. I'm serious, call it. If you just called it, you heard a woman say, "Hi, Carol, we're so glad you called. We can't wait for you to join us." Notice something? We. Us. Not I or the company. This isn't marketing. This is the show itself speaking to you. This is the hive mind inviting you to join. And that's just the beginning of Vince Gilligan's most cryptic, unsettling, and brilliant show yet. Welcome to PLURIBUS, where happiness isn't the cure, it's the plague. So, what is PLURIBUS actually about? Here's the official logline from Apple. The most miserable person on Earth must save the world from happiness. But here's where it gets fascinating. That person is Carol Sturka, played by Rhea Seehorn, and Vince Gilligan describes her as a curmudgeonly romance novelist. Let that sink in for a second. A woman whose entire career is built on writing idealized, artificial versions of love and happiness is the only person immune to a virus that forces everyone into artificial happiness. She spends her days crafting fake emotions for a living. She understands the mechanics of manufactured bliss better than anyone. And that professional cynicism, that ability to see through the artifice, is exactly what makes her immune. Her misery isn't a weakness, it's her armor. And in Vince Gilligan's Pristed universe, the most miserable person alive is humanity's last hope.
Now let's talk about that phone number again, because it's the key to everything. When you call 202-808-3981, that message isn't just creepy marketing. It's a window into what this show is really about. Listen to the language again. We're so glad you called. We can't wait for you to join us. These collective pronouns aren't accidental. This is the infected speaking, the hive mind, and they're recruiting. If you press 0, you get a text message that says, "Please know your life is your own, Carol. You have agency." Think about that. Why would they need to tell her she has agency unless she's about to lose it? The title gives us the final clue. Pluribus, Latin for many, from the phrase e pluribus unum, out of many, one. Out of many individuals comes one collective consciousness, one smiling, happy, unified hive mind. Gilligan's confirmed his inspirations: Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the Borg from Star Trek, and The Twilight Zone. This isn't a show about zombies. It's about something worse. People who are still themselves, but not. Still functional, still friendly, just empty. And Carol is the last person left who's still fully human. But here's what makes this truly disturbing. Remember that teaser? The woman in pink scrubs standing in an office building after hours, methodically licking donuts and putting them back in a box that says, "Help yourself." That's not a zombie attack. That's not evil. That's what happens when happiness erases consequences. When there's no shame, no guilt, no fear of judgment, people don't become villains. They become thoughtlessly selfish, blissfully inconsiderate. They do whatever makes them happy in the moment with zero awareness of how it affects others. That tagline, "Happiness is contagious," isn't a feel-good message. It's a warning. The virus makes people perpetually content and optimistic. No negative emotions, no social guardrails, just pure, toxic, consequence-free bliss. And another teaser shows Carol covered in blood with the text, "Sorry about the blood." Sorry, not guilty, not horrified, just sorry, like she spilled coffee. That's the horror of this world. Not violence, not chaos, just the complete absence of meaningful emotion.
Now here's where my detective work gets interesting. That donut box? It's from Sandy Pony Donuts, a real company in Maryland with locations in Annapolis, Chincoteague, and Bethany Beach. And in that teaser, if you look carefully in the background, there's a Maryland state flag. But wait, the show is set in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
This isn't a production error. Gilligan's team is known for obsessive attention to detail. I think we're seeing the outbreak's origin story. The virus didn't appear everywhere at once. It started in Maryland. And those donuts, a symbol of communal sharing, of office culture, of help yourself, they were patient zero. The woman licking them isn't just weird. She's literally spreading the contagion, the happiness plague that will eventually reach Carol in New Mexico. Gilligan and Seahorn even showed up at San Diego Comic-Con with a real Sandy Pony Donuts truck. They're making this connection deliberate. Which brings us to the central philosophical question Gilligan wants us to wrestle with. Is this world a utopia or a dystopia? Imagine it. No more war, no more crime, no more depression, anxiety, or suffering. Everyone is content. Everyone gets along. But the price is your individuality, your free will, your ability to create art, feel genuine love, experience real growth through hardship. Gilligan himself says, "We leave that to the audience. Is this dystopic or utopic?" Carol, the miserable romance novelist, doesn't think forced happiness is worth it. She's fighting for humanity's right to be sad, angry, and complicated. But what about you? If you could flip a switch and make everyone happy forever, would you? Even if it meant erasing everything that makes us human? That's the question this show is asking.
Now, why am I so confident this is going to be massive? 2 words: Apple TV+. They've mastered this exact type of show. Severance, Silo, Foundation, high-concept sci-fi that treats its audience like adults. And Bob Odenkirk, who worked with Gilligan for 14 years, recently said, "I don't know a damn thing about this show, but I know it's going to be massive. It's going to be the biggest thing since Game of Thrones, probably since Severance." That's not just hype. That's someone who knows Gilligan's process, who's seen what he can do, putting his reputation on the line. The cryptic marketing, the phone number ARG, the donut licking, it's all working, just like Severance's mystery box marketing. Gilligan has made the confusion itself compelling. And Apple already greenlit Season 2 before Episode 1 even airs. They know what they have. Pluribus premieres November 7th on Apple TV Plus with 2 episodes, then weekly through December 26th. But before you go, I need to know. If you had to choose, would you rather live in a world where everyone is artificially happy or stay miserable but free? Drop your answer in the comments. Team Utopia or Team Dystopia? And if you haven't already, seriously call that number, 202-808-3981. Experience the hive mind for yourself. Hit that like button if you're watching on November 7th. Subscribe because I'm breaking down every episode of this show as it drops. The happiness plague is coming. The question is, will you join us?